Hello, Africa. You're welcome to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. This is the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. My name is Eunice Tonyi, and I am so excited to meet you tonight. Now, when it comes to how I look, I always appreciate one person, Afariwa Styles. Afariwa Styles can be located in Osu and also along the Teshilungwa Road. She's into contemporary ladies and gents outfit, and she's adorned me in this beautiful blue flowered outfit. I love it so much. Afariwa, thank you. Please pick up her number right now at the base of your screen and give her a call. The festive season is here with us, and you really want to be able to get that particular dress that will make you stand out. What I like most is the fact that they're already made. So you step in, check what fits and works, and then you step out looking really good and radiant. So we actually posted on our social media pages that we were going to be talking to one very special lady who is not new to African Women's Voices show. She's been here in the past, and we're happy to have her again. And we are having her again because she's doing something that is impacting lives. And we just couldn't sit down on the fence and watch her do it alone. So as usual, African Women's Voices show has reached out to amplify the efforts of this very special lady. And she's none other than our sister and friend Golda. I'm going to introduce her properly, but as we always do, we give you the 60 seconds update where we talk about women and what they're doing here in Ghana, across Africa and the world. Right after the 60 seconds update, I would introduce our sister better. So do stay tuned.
ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show wishes a happy birthday to the medical officer in charge of Douala Medical Center, Bema Camp, Accra, Dr. Iradra Nuno. We say, may the Lord continually elevate you and grant you joy overflow. Amen and amen. Happy birthday. People react to life challenges differently. At a point, some give up, become less concerned, and live each day in self-pity as it comes till they are no more. Golda Na Adaku Adu was diagnosed of cancer in April 2022, but has chosen to turn her adversity to hope. She built a facility known as Bosren. Bosren is an acronym meaning Body and Soul Rejuvenation Nest. This facility tends to people who need care and resources to find peace in their lives. It is open to everyone, whether you have a condition or not. Tonight on African Women's Voices show, join us as we get to hear the inspiring story of Golda Na Adaku Adu, the woman who has chosen to turn her adversity to hope.
And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. This is the time I have anticipated, and we get to introduce our guest. She is Golda Na Adaku Adu, and she is a results-based management practitioner and development strategist. Today, we are going to be talking Bosren. So you'll be wondering, how do we connect development, strategies, and all of that? Well, we'll get to understand. She's always strategizing, and she's found a way to strategize and has put together this outfit that is putting body and soul together and rejuvenating us. Does it sound like a spa to you? Okay, you'll find out more because we're going to be showing you visuals of what is actually happening in that space. Now, to give you an intro of who this person is, a very brief one, we would like to say life is full of challenges, and you and I know about that. Most times, these challenges can be unbearable, and that is so true. So when it's unbearable, we know it's natural to feel the way you feel. However, this particular woman called Golda Na Adaku has said, no, I'm going to defy all odds. I'm not going to pity myself or not achieve whatever it is I want to achieve. I am here for a purpose, and I am going to definitely make my mark here on earth. So she was recently diagnosed of cancer, but instead of coiling into her shell, she decided to turn this adversity, this hurt, into hope. She built Bosren, which is spelled B-O-S-R-E-N, and she's going to tell us exactly what Bosren stands for in the course of the show. And Bosren is to help people going through health, life challenges to find healing and peace. Please let the drum roll and put your hands together for this particular woman who is giving us all hope to actually face our future, no matter how it is. You are welcome to African Women's Voices Show once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
having me again.
All right. You know, I mentioned Bosren, you know, but before going to Bosren, I think people really need to know you again, even though we've known you in the past. We want to know you again and know you better. And know, I mean, who is Golda? Tell us.
You know, you always think you know yourself until something happens. I'm a mother. I think it's what I have always been longest, right? We evolve. I'm a mom. I have 2 boys. I am community development person. You know, I focus a lot on development issues. I'm a results-based management practitioner, which means that I'm always looking at how to help people get the results they need out of their work or their personal life. But above all, I'm a passionate Ghanaian. I'm very much vested into the welfare, well-being, and transformation of Ghana, whether it's from the basic unit, the human beings, or whether it's at governmental level or leadership level. And that's how I describe myself.
Wow, that is fantastic. It is fantastic. So, you were just recently diagnosed of cancer. Is it in your family? Did you ever think it was going to happen?
My mother did pass away from cancer, and her sister did. So it's fair to say that there was always a bit of anxiety about whether it was something that runs through the family. At the moment, my siblings don't have, even though they have checked, which is a good thing. But even though mine was found unusually, it's not the same thing my mom or her sister had. So I still don't know whether it's a genetic thing or it just happened. You know, cancer itself, they say, comes from various factors. So we're still learning.
Just because we are black women is actually a risk factor. Just being a black woman,
unfortunately,
is a risk factor.
Yes.
Okay, so let's come to how the world commemorates, you know, the awareness around cancer. As somebody who is taking treatment for cancer now, do you think the world is doing enough, or you think people really are not taking it as seriously as they should?
Since I've had it, you know, it's a kind of situation where when you experience something or you buy something, you seem to see it everywhere. And I've been hearing a lot about what is going on regarding cancer around the world. People are making huge innovations, taking huge steps towards cancer. But in Ghana, anything that regards our health scares us. To make it even more difficult, we are not well equipped health-wise to help people through, you know, these issues. So our doctors have the knowledge, but they don't have the resources to be of enough support. They don't have the means. So we are battling a scarcity of ability here in Ghana, where we do know that these things happen, but there's not enough awareness about the causes, what to do when it happens, or how to get enough support to go through it. The rest of the world seems to be doing much better.
Okay. So looking at how we commemorate this day, and you find people, for instance, Breast Cancer Awareness Month was just in October. You find people say, oh, they are wearing pink, they're trying to, you know, create awareness. People, even there's no bra day and everything. As somebody who is taking treatment, when you see people just moving about, oh yeah, it's Awareness Day, do you really feel like you guys don't really understand? You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. It's as serious as this. Do you have that feeling sometimes?
I do. Quite often I do. But I like to be optimistic. I always say, okay, even in the playfulness, is there a way that we can teach ourselves even more? Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't happen. But this year, you in the media and a lot more people I've seen are doing so well this year. You have made people pause and ask themselves, beyond this, what next? What else? And if you're able to help us continue in that trajectory, I think we may end up doing better, for ourselves.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So we'll go for a quick commercial break. When we return, we get her to tell us the story around Bosren. Do not go away. And you're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show. If you just joined us, well, you haven't missed much because Bosren is the happening thing in town. And you need to go there, find out more about it, and also get educated about it. Go right now to Golda's Facebook page. It's not difficult to find. Just type her name, all right? Golda na Adako Ado. Once you just type it, it just pop up. And you get a lot of information around Bosren. I will be very happy to see you make comments about what it is that she's doing with Bosren, and also put your comments on our Facebook page. We would love to read them. And Golda also would respond to questions we're not able to ask right here in the studio. So what led you to think about putting together this beautiful place?
Thank you, Eunice. When you ask yourself, what is a human being? And you are not talking about science, you realize that we struggle a bit to define ourselves. And during the illness, I kept on thinking, why do we come into this life to suffer? There's so much, it's like adulting is a scam, that's what we always say.
Yeah, adulthood is a scam.
Yeah, it's really stressful and difficult apart from the few moments. And I was telling a friend the other day that, I think the human being is just made up of a lot of intangible moments and experiences and memories and emotions, right? And a lot of spirit and soul, okay? And sometimes if we have enough feeding these parts of us, we can be extraordinary.
True.
Science is just a small part of what the human being is. We're still exploring and understanding through science what we can be as human beings. And I think that until that happens, we ourselves, there are things we go through that we can do that we don't understand. But it happens, it exists. So I figured there was a lot of support. The cancer was discovered in April, rather suddenly because it wasn't expected. It was just part of a discovery from a surgery. And by May, I needed to have another surgery, right? And there was so much happening that we needed to fundraise to support that. But the amount of help that flowed in just two days was so overwhelming. And a part of me feels it contributed so much to my recovery and my ability to heal. I kept asking myself, 16 years of working with communities and trying to bring results to people, why can't I put a little bit of this kind of amazing support into Ghanaians in a more coordinated way? It makes a huge difference. I know I help people, but there has to be a physical space where people can find support, unquestionable, non-judgmental support, to find healing, to say that, okay, I just want to be here without anyone looking at me like I'm weird for crying or for just wanting to sit on the floor or anything that would de-stress me. So I told myself, if I'm able to go through most of my healing journey, whatever is left, I would want to put it into that physical space and set it up and encourage more Ghanaians to value their peace of mind, their mental health, and to know that there's a space like this that helps. And that's how this came about.
Wow, that's fantastic. You know, talking about the fundraising part,
Yeah.
I am so excited about how it went, and I think I want to use the opportunity to say a very big thank you to all our
Everybody.
viewers who
Yeah.
responded, and to Dr. Ida.
Yes.
Dr. Ida reached out to me and spoke to me, and we all said, look, we have to do something about this. And Dr. Ida, thank you. Thank you for letting people know. And to all other people that I may not know, but at least Dr. Ida knew that we had a mutual friend in friendship in Golda. So that's why she reached out to me. So those of you who also contributed in different ways, we are saying a very big thank you to you all. You see how coming together was able to motivate her to now say, okay, let's birth Bosren.
Yeah.
To be a place that people will come and then find their peace.
Yeah.
So what does Bosren mean?
Bosren, it's the abbreviation of Body and Soul Rejuvenation Nest. We did not want to just talk about therapy or counseling just by itself. We wanted people to be more interested in what are the components of myself that I can heal, you know, and of course it's not just your body, it's your soul. Rejuvenation is because sometimes it's not just about starting from scratch, it's about trying to pick yourself up from a point and keep it going. And the nest is for you to understand that we accommodate you, we embrace you, we protect you, you know, it's a nest. So it's a home away from home. That's how we set it up.
Wow.
The minute you step in, it feels like you breathe very deeply. And a lot of people who have come there have just found themselves just falling asleep without warning.
Wow, is that peaceful?
It's very peaceful, very accommodating. And a lot of them just snap up and go like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, that's the whole point of this. That you need to be able to take a break. The break that your body is craving, that you take it and nobody's going to question you or judge you.
Right. And what about those nice, healthy food I see on your
Yes.
page?
Yes.
Do you get to have some at the place?
You do. We've got psychologists, we've got a mental health nurse, we've got counselors, wellness coach, we've got reflexologists who work on your body health through foot massages. And we've got the healthy food because that has been a major part of my journey. Knowing what to eat and how for myself, because every individual is different. And we realized feeding is very expensive in Ghana, but in our own way, we were able to put aside profit margins and say, you know, we are happy to provide you this opportunity to explore. You can eat really healthy and it will taste amazing.
So good.
And it's
Yeah,
like
I see the comments
medication.
and the feedback.
Yes.
Like, hey, good food is good.
Yes.
It's a key attraction for me, seriously, the
Not
food.
just you. A lot of people
A lot of people have said that too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's
people
good.
walk in sometimes go like, are you baking something? We could smell it outside.
Oh, Bosren. That's fantastic feedback.
Yeah.
So the place, is it for everyone? So that
Yes.
means anyone could just step in. You don't
Anyone.
need to be struggling with a chronic illness, you know, or just come in and
Yeah.
just rejuvenate.
Yes. Yes. Just consider it as a space that it's open to you anytime. We're open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. To 8 p.m. we're open. And if you have something urgent before we open, there are phone numbers you can always reach us on. And it surprisingly, it happens often. Most mornings by 7, I'm having messages and calls. Today somebody wanted to desperately talk, you know.
Wow.
So we feel very privileged to be in this space that people can trust us to be able to reach out to us and walk in, sit down. You don't need to buy anything or do anything. Just feel free and just walk in and come around. Yeah.
Walk in, come around, you know,
Yeah.
come around, go
Yeah.
to Bosren. So where
Yeah.
can we locate this beautiful place?
Bosren is currently at Adenta, with the hope that we will be able to be in more places. We are currently at Adenta because we're just 7 weeks old.
Wow.
And Adenta, it's on Google Maps. So
Okay.
if anybody types Bosren all in capitals, it will pop up
That's good.
It pops up on Uber or Bolt as well. The nearest landmark will be St. John's Catholic Church and School.
Oh, okay, that's a popular place.
It's a popular place. That's the nearest landmark, and we're about 5-10 minutes walk from
Away
there,
from
so it's
there.
not too far. Yes.
Nice one,
Yes.
nice one.
Yes.
Wow. So anyway, I think I should go for this break. But when we return, I would like to find out from Golda if people come to her to say things like, but we've heard that cancer is, I mean, once you've got cancer, it means you're dead. Do we have people coming to her to ask her such questions or say such things to her? And what does that, how does it make her feel? We'll find that out when we return from this commercial break. Do not go away. You're welcome back to ETV Ghana's African Women's Voices show, the show that tackles issues pertaining to women as they contribute to national development. And Golda is one solid woman that is really contributing to national development. She has put together this beautiful place called Bosren. If you've missed so far, don't worry. We'll continue to show you the visuals of Bosren even till the program ends. Before we went on the break, I said I was going to ask her one question that keeps running through the minds of people. We want to know if anyone or if people have approached her to ask her, okay, we hear cancer is like a death sentence. So do you think you're going to die? And, give her all those negative energy. Golda, how has it been in that space?
Well, my diagnosis has been a bit rare. In the beginning, the doctors were pretty certain what it was. But then as time went on, they realized it was from more than one place. And they were not sure what kind of state exactly, it was in. But they figured it was one of two things. It was either a very rare type that they gave a name to, or it was a type that was evolving in ways that they are not sure of. And you can imagine that puts me in a space where I'm constantly shuffled between a lot of different professionals, and I'm still undergoing monitoring anyway. But in the beginning, I'm pretty certain quite a lot of them didn't think I'll make it because of the nature of it. And I remember when the doctor gave me the news, she almost subconsciously shielded herself by kind of just handing me over completely, instead of kind of staying on the case. And I think it was at that moment that I realized that I will probably need to be the foremost cheerleader for myself and decide how do I want to run the rest of the course, because nobody knows how long they're going to last. And my psychologist always tells me, perfectly healthy people pass away every day.
True.
For no reason.
No reason.
So there's no reason why you can't get up every day and make the most of your, time as long as you're alive.
Wow.
And of course, it's a disease where in Ghana there are a lot of questions. So part of me was never upset when people reacted or behaved or treated me like, I'm practically gone. I just told them, well, let's just get through today and we'll see how tomorrow goes.
And see
Yes.
where we are.
Exactly.
And, the typical mindset we've got, like, people who actually are diagnosed with this, they grow so lean and they become like broomsticks, they lose their hair and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody
Yes.
sees that on you at all.
Yes. So it's for two reasons, right? I do have quite a few friends I've made who are also battling cancer. There are a lot of people around us who have cancer who don't look like they do. Some of them prefer not to say because they may lose their jobs, sometimes it does drain you and you change a bit. But most of the time, people are able to stay on supplements to keep themselves okay. Because the most important thing is being able to have the energy to move about. Once you don't have that, your body starts deteriorating because it's already fighting. I think the fortunate thing is that these days there are a lot of good supplements that people are able to take. that helps to counter the balance, aggressive work that the cancer does in you. The second thing is, for me, I had so many surgeries that they were able to take out as much as they could.
Okay.
I think that reduced a lot of the deterioration that was going on. And then I opted to try out more of lifestyle changes than to rush into chemotherapy.
Okay.
Because I realized there were a few studies that were going on that felt that could help.
Lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change, and chemotherapy would be the very last resort. But even in chemotherapy nowadays, there are very targeted medications that, instead of chemo that will blast your entire body and really drain you, it will target certain cells.
Okay.
Right. So it does the work in a local area in your body. Yes, cancer, with more knowledge and more awareness, I think we're doing a little better, those of us who have it, to manage it for various reasons, either for people not to know so that it doesn't affect your work, or just to be able to keep about your daily life. Because I could not imagine not being able to work. I've always been self-employed. I could not imagine a space where I can't take care of my children. And I figured, okay, lifestyle changes, supplements, and a lot of surgery will give me that opportunity. And so far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah,
Yes.
I can tell.
Yes.
I really can tell.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you just, spoke about family, your children, and everything. So how did they take it when you told them?
The older one is just about 10, 15, and the younger one is only 5 years old. So I think the bigger concern was with the older one, and how he was taking in, and for a long time I kept it away from him because I was very worried about what it would do to him.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who had gone through cancer for about 7 years now told me, you really have to get ahead of it because they will always find out. And when they find out from a different source, it's never really good. Unfortunately, he did find out before I could.
Wow, that's a smart boy.
I know. So I needed to just sit and have a conversation with him immediately and say, it may not make sense now, but the most important thing is that I wake up every day and I'm here and we make the most of it. And I had to convince him about the ways, when you're raising your child, you always share advice or you reprimand in ways that let them understand you won't always be there. And I just told him, just remember that a lot of these things, you already have it in you, you'll be okay. He did break down at a point, but thankfully we are now in a better place.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So what would you advise anyone who probably is told today that, okay, this is a condition? Would you advise that they make time to talk to their children, or give it time? From your experience, what do you think may work?
It's the best advice, but it's really tough to do.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. So what I will suggest is that first they can determine if there's somebody who can do that conversation with them, where maybe they're there, but they may not necessarily be the ones to say it, because it's really difficult, So if there's someone who can say it on your behalf while you're there, then explore that. But if not, and you're still struggling seriously, maybe give yourself a little bit of time and then try again. Because sometimes you yourself, it breaks you down too much.
Yeah, because having to deal with it,
yes,
and always, with all those things in your head telling you that,
yes,
oh, it's a death sentence.
Yes, yes. What do you tell them? Yes.
You tell them and everything.
Yes.
We'll go for our final commercial break. When we return, we get to hear from Golda speaking to people who are actually in this condition and how they can turn their adversity to hope. To stay tuned. And you're back to the concluding part of tonight's edition of African Women's Voices show. We have in the studio with us Golda Na Adako Ado, the woman and the brain behind Bosren. If you've seen it on Facebook, or you've seen the facility, or you've heard about it, we're happy to announce that we have the brain behind it. And from the story she's told us so far, it's really been inspiring and encouraging as to how she put herself together despite all odds to say, I must make a mark. I must touch the lives of others. I must help others find peace in the midst of their turmoil. Thank you so much, Golda.
Thank you, Eunice.
So now let's go over to the part where we get to speak to anyone who has heard any kind of information and it's so difficult for them to deal with. It could be a disease, or it could be maybe a loss of job, something that really is going to shake you. Looking at the way you've been able to pull through yours, what would you want to say to that person? This is your camera.
First of all, the most important thing to know is we do not have to go through this alone. I have been called by a number of people since we set up Bosren who have, the first thing they say is, I have nobody, I don't know what to do. There's always somebody out there who cares enough to listen to you, and that's the main thing you need first. Reach out to that person. We also are there for you. We are always available for you to reach out and talk. Message us if you don't have the means to call, and we will call you back. But the first thing is reach out to somebody and let somebody give you a hand to hold. Trust me, it goes a long way. The second thing is tell yourself that for as long as you are alive, there's so much that you can do. Even if you have just today, today has so many hours in it. Reach out to everybody you need to reach out to. Engage anybody you have to. Sit down and convince yourself that tomorrow you could try again, and just put one foot in front of the other, you know, one day after another. Sometimes you'll be surprised how it goes. When you're dealing with your medical team, doctors, nurses, ask questions. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it makes them frustrated, sometimes it may also be a big issue for you because you struggle with the answers you may get or the reactions you may get. But ask questions, because trust me, it makes a huge, huge difference. And there are people out there who may be able to form a community with you. I reached out and found so much community out there. They gave me insights from their own experiences. They helped me with resources. And most of all, open up and see who out there may be willing to help you. Even if it's just a little, it will go a long way. And don't give up.
Wow, fantastic. That's great. I mean, I am already feeling hopeful by what you said. That was a great one.
Yeah.
So I also need you to talk to family members, because you mentioned that this is time, you know, for you to be able to have community, have
Yes.
support and all of that.
Yes.
So as a family member to someone who has heard a news like this, what would you want to say to them? What should they be saying to people like, you know, those
Yes.
people to encourage them?
Yes. For family members, you may sometimes not understand what your family member is going through, but the most important thing you can do is just be present. You don't always need to have something to say. You don't always need to have something to offer. Sometimes just being present alone, or messaging daily to say, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? Sometimes that alone is enough. There will be times you may get pushed away. Don't take it badly. Just keep checking in whenever you can. If there's any way for you to support, don't think it's not enough. You may have a friend somewhere who may be of help. You may be able to ask a question somewhere that may transform everything, okay? You may have a resource that may go a long way. So whatever is within your means to do, just do it. But if you don't understand what they're going through, allow them to share whenever they can, to put you in that space, and just consider yourself as somebody who they need, but they may not be able to verbalize or express, you know, as well as they should, and just be supportive.
Great. And then to the final part, the medical practitioners, people always have experiences about
Yes.
the doctors.
Yes.
So how would you say the medical team should actually treat,
Yes.
you know, patients? Because,
Yes.
I mean, professionally, they are told to be ethical, but is that
Yes.
really what it is on ground?
For a lot of our medical folks, I think they struggle with the aspect of what they know and what you, the patient, are going through. I would suggest that if you're a doctor or a nurse or someone in the medical space, and it feels like a patient is constantly questioning you or disagreeing with you, try and be patient and just listen. Because a lot of the time we realize that we may understand in theory what the situation should be, but everybody's body is different. Everybody experiences their illness differently. And when the doctor or the medical person does not seem to be present or concerned or interested enough, it takes so much hope away, you know, from you. It makes you feel completely at a loss. In my case, I was fortunate to have a few doctors who stepped in and said, we will walk that journey with you. And I had to also travel to find much more support, you know. But I think I see some of them beginning to realize that, okay, we did rush through some of the things and we were wrong in some. And I think as a medical person, when you realize that you did something that wasn't right, it's okay to also be able to apply that learning for the sake of other patients, you know. It goes a long way to help us, the patients. Yeah.
Wow. Well spoken, like somebody who is always interested in results. You see how she has given the, you know, the counsel and how she's tried to put it together and get us to all get the kind of results that we're looking for. We could talk on and on and on, but this is where we draw the curtain. Thank you so much, Nat, for joining us.
Thank you too.
All right, so until we meet again, do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you. Bye-bye.